The textbook definition of the word flow is an optimal state of consciousness where we feel and perform at our best. The term embraces the sensation that the word itself conveys, that of moving freely, steadily, and uninterrupted. At a high level of execution, we all have seen disaster movies of Mother Nature. We watch in awe at the unrelenting force and the fury when climate factors align just right, or should I say just wrong, to produce an unforgettable moment. No less mesmerizing is watching the human spectacle of skill and spirit when we are in a state of flow. We are privileged to perform or witness a mind and body working in complete harmony, each making the required contribution to create a memorable masterpiece. Typically, it's in the arenas of sports and the arts that we watch and enjoy athletes and entertainers perform their craft with such focus and ease. They can appear oblivious to the scores of people wildly celebrating or quietly transfixed by their performance. Flow state is not just for athletes. These same observations can be seen in high-performing business professionals as they focus on corporate or team objectives and strive to get into the zone. Just like a high-performing athlete, business people struggle with finding flow state and staying there. Now, there's a great paradox to this highly desired state of mind. First, for the person in flow, time seems to stand still, yet also seems to fly by. Hours rush by and feel like minutes. Also, it seems like the performance is put forth with such ease and little effort, but anyone who has tried an athletic or artistic task knows firsthand it's incredibly difficult. For many high performers in flow, there is seemingly an air of calmness about them, yet the performance is often taking place in a cauldron of intense activity, and yet they seem above the plane of mere mortals. And if you've witnessed a performer in flow, they seem to be fully present in the moment, but while giving what many will marvel at is an out-of-body experience. The idea of flow has been around for literally thousands of years, but it really took root in the 1970s and 80s when a Hungarian psychiatrist named Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi became fascinated by artists who were so immersed in their creative work they lost all track of time, would even ignore food, water, and sleep. And through his research, Mihaly noticed similar experiences with scientists, athletes, and authors who were so engaged in their meaningful work that they too demonstrated a hyper-focus and complete engagement that Mr. Csikszentmihalyi came to describe as the optimal experience. Now, researchers do not have a consensus on a single working model for a flow theory, but we can identify a few consistent factors for achieving a state of flow. First, it must be a task that you find intrinsically rewarding. Routine and mundane tasks will not motivate you enough to get into flow. It helps if you are setting these goals for yourself. Also, the task needs clear and immediate feedback. You need to know what you're doing and where you're going. And finally, the challenge must match the perceived skill. This requires a sense of personal control over the task. In 1987, researchers published the 8-channel model of flow. You'll note that if the task is too easy, you might experience apathy or boredom. But if the task is too hard, you may get worried or become anxious. The goal is to match the skill level and the task at hand. Now, if the purpose of discussing the amazing feats of Mother Nature, athletes, and artists is not to make you feel helpless or inferior, but rather as a compelling introduction to the power of flow and the potential that it offers you, specifically how your skills as a leader will improve, and by extension the productivity of people under your direction, as we like to say, being flipped into flow. And if you're not a believer quite yet, in a 10-year study conducted by McKinsey, a global management consulting firm, they reported top executives were 5 times more productive in flow. If business professionals could just spend 20% more time during their work week in a flow state, the organization would benefit from a whopping 2x return in productivity. An eye-popping discovery to be sure. Put another way, a leader in flow all day on Monday will get as much done as steady and stable colleagues do in a week. As leaders of teams and organizations, it's key to understand how to recognize when both ourselves and our colleagues are in flow, coach teams to help achieve flow, and avoid behaviors that knock people out of flow. Focus on flow, and performance will follow.